Ann Coulter, a best-selling author. She's got a big new book she's working on right now. And, of course, you should get her book, In Trump We Trust. And get her book, Adios America. If you're concerned about the wall, the border, and read her columns, go to AnnCoulter.com and follow Ann Coulter on Twitter. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Great. How are you, Mark Simone?
Very good. Hey, you're a big best-selling author. I'm reading this. You see this new Bill Clinton, James Patterson book? It stinks. What the hell happened?
I guess Patterson ran out of steam. It's odd to have an established author going to, I guess, a big name as an alleged co-author. Very strange.
Well, I've asked a lot of publishing people. They all say Patterson and Clinton probably have never even seen the book. They farmed it out to somebody. But
yeah, you know, as an actual author who writes her own books, which is increasingly rare, I don't know why celebrities have to sell books and pretend they're writing books. Why can't they sell mugs with their names on it, or placemats or something? T-shirts. Why do they have to hire a ghostwriter and put out some crap-ass book that nobody cares less about? It's just going to sit on a coffee table. It's really annoying to have them mixing things up. I guess it's a compliment that they consider it such an admirable thing to actually write a book, but, you know, maybe they should try doing it.
Yeah, now when you see Bill Clinton go on these shows and he's stunned that anybody would ask him about Monica Lewinsky or anything, how naive did he get, or is he just out of touch now?
Well, the Clinton machine has lost its power. As I wrote in my column last week, it really, I don't think Weinstein would have been exposed if Hillary had won the election. This Me Too movement never would have taken off. There has been just a Praetorian Guard protecting progressive perverts for 20 years now. Everybody knew it. We saw what happened to first, Clarence Thomas for things he didn't do, but even if he had, it was just dirty talk in the office. Remember, he allegedly talked about Long Dong Silver, and just, to quickly, most people, when they hear about it, they always want to split the baby. No, Clarence Thomas never did any of that. It's well known in Washington that among, a group of poker players that used to include all these Supreme Court justices, D.C. Circuit judges, people like Scalia, they always said that Clarence Thomas was the most prudish of all of them. Yeah. And when you're talking about a crowd that includes Scalia, in any event, alleged dirty talk, which wasn't true, and then just, constant predation on women by Bill Clinton when you have the entire feminist movement leaping to his defense. So it's been open season on liberal women or anyone who gets around any predatory liberal man. So no, I think this is quite a shock for Bill Clinton to ever be asked about this and not be told, oh, sir, yes, you're right. You saved the Constitution by repeatedly ejaculating on an intern. Thank you.
So I love that Bill Clinton approach, though, when Coulter asked him some tough questions, but, why didn't you apologize? And he does that victim routine. I tried to apologize. They wouldn't let me. I wanted to. It's like he's always the victim in every sentence.
I know. I am sort of glad that the younger generation can become familiar with this Elmer Gantry. Really, wow, do not talk to me about Trump after we had Bill Clinton. Oh, no. And the other thing we saw, of course, was with the interview with Craig Melvin. And I salute Melvin for asking him. Melvin's always been one of my favorite reporters on MSNBC or hosts. He does seem like a straight shooter. There are a few, even in the belly of the mainstream media. But the way Clinton reacted, the explosion, that's old hat with Clinton, too. When he gets asked a question that isn't a suck-up question, remember how he blew up with Chris Matthews, asking him if he had, and it's perfectly provable on the record. He had totally blown off those warnings from Michael Schur and others. Osama bin Laden, we can take him out. We need to take him out. And Clinton was, too busy with Monica Lewinsky, totally blows it off. He gets asked about that in much less harsh terms than I just put it by Chris Wallace, and he absolutely blew up. You can see the video on YouTube. His face was red. He was storming and angry, just like this question with Melvin. So it's either, total anger if you're not being sucked up to, or total Elmer Gantry with this guy.
And then in the next hour, the panel discusses how thin-skinned Donald Trump is. The FBI stuff with Peter Strzok had more involvement now than we know. McCabe wants immunity. This is really dirty stuff up there at that little cabal at the top.
It's very, very, very dirty, and I think it's very important that it be exposed and consequences meted out. It just becomes clearer and clearer that, thank God, Hillary Clinton was not elected, because, I mean, Democrats generally, but the Clintons in particular, they can corrupt anything. And it was just assumed that Hillary was going to be the new boss. So let's just get started early on the corruption.
Yeah. So what do you think will happen, though? I mean, obviously, Jeff Sessions will not get the job done at some point. Hold on right there.
What? I have had it with you Trump zombies attacking the best member of the administration.
Jeff Sessions?
Thin-skinned Donald Trump, and he is thin-skinned here, through his own idiocy, fires Jim Comey. When he could have done it when he got into office. He could have waited a few months. No, Jared, because of his extensive experience in politics, tells him, no, fire James Comey now. It couldn't have been worse timing if he had waited 3 weeks. He could have done it. But no, when he fires Comey, then he says he did it for Russia. Ask any lawyer, ask the stupidest lawyer you know, some of which I could name that we'd all know right now. If an attorney general has to recuse himself from investigations into a campaign he was associated with, of course he had to recuse himself. This has nothing to do with Sessions. It has everything to do with Trump and this infantile trolling your own attorney general here. Sessions is the only one doing anything on Trump's central campaign promise, which Trump seems to have forgotten.
All right, but it was Sessions said to himself.
And now all he does with Sessions is send him nasty tweets on across social media. Fire him if you don't want.
Yeah, I agree. Fire him. But isn't it Sessions that said, Rod Rosenstein, he'd be good for the Justice Department?
That's almost as bad, but not quite as bad as the President of the United States saying, I know who should run this country, Jared!
That's true. All right,
for God's sake, there isn't one decent person in the White House.
I'm not the biggest Jared fan. He's like the Bobby Kennedy of this whole deal.
He's the least of the problems. I don't mean to be specifically going after him. How about Rod Shaw? Trump has brought in all of these Bush people, all of the pro-amnesty people. That's who's advising. He has Nikki Haley at the UN. Give me a break. Sessions is the one bright light in this administration, and he's the only one doing anything on immigration, unlike the guy who ran on, let me think. Oh, yeah, immigration.
Are you okay?
Oh, my gosh, you Trump bots. And Fox News, the whole problem is Jeff Sessions, the one guy who's doing anything good.
Why don't you take a couple aspirin and lie down? That was pretty good. Boy, you're like Bill Clinton.
I am like Bill Clinton when you attack my love, Jeff Sessions.
Wow. All right. How about that Gomer Pyle? He was pretty good, too.
Again, who fired Comey? Who went on Lester Holt and said, I did it because of Russia? Oh, yeah, it's all Sessions' fault here.
Well, all right, that's true. But since the Mueller investigation doesn't seem to be looking at anything that has anything to do with the campaign, the Manafort stuff's from a million years ago, the Flynn side, nothing he's investigating has anything to do with the campaign. Can't Sessions unrecuse himself now? I mean, you could just say it's pretty clear you're not looking at anything involving the campaign. I'll unrecuse myself.
I'm not. I mean, ultimately, the question there is whether Mueller should be fired. And there, although it is quite obviously a witch hunt, it is outrageous. I think Mueller and his investigators are utterly biased and corrupt, though I'm not 100% sure about that, but I am 90% sure about that. Okay, so Trump could fire them.
Yeah. Well, Mueller's like a bad contractor. It's like a 6-week...
I want to see a little bit more.
Yeah, Mueller's like this contractor. It's a 6-week job, and a year later, he's barely started.
But I think we want him to fail a little bit more. I mean, there's not going to be anything there. The worst thing is that he's ruining people's lives like Manafort and Carter Page and that poor guy, Papadopoulos, and so on and so forth. I mean, people's lives, there's a lot of money gets spent for this kind of nonsense. In the end, Trump should pardon them all and give them jobs. They'd be better than the people he has in the White House now. But I think we need to see it, put up or shut up at some point pretty soon with Mueller. I think politically it's actually better for Trump because it has become so corrupt and so awful. Let's just expose the whole thing.
All right. There is a story breaking, though. The Department of Justice watchdog is going to find Comey guilty of exceeding authority. I think that's the IG report, because they're going to get Comey in a couple of things.
So far, the first report is only on his treatment of the whole Hillary email business. He hasn't even started on the corruption of the FBI to get Trump during the campaign. And by the way, something else I believe you criticized Sessions for.
Oh, my God.
Dan was right about, and Sessions was right about. No, you want this guy, Michael Horowitz, doing it. He seems like an absolute straight shooter. He has exposed. He's not only exposing corruption on the Trump side. He's the one who's been bringing all this stuff forward about the corruption, exposing Peter Strzok, getting Strzok off the Mueller investigation. And he was the Inspector General of the Department of Justice under Obama.
Well, that's a good point.
Trust him. Keep him there. Let him keep doing his job.
All right, I agree. Things are happening a little too slowly, but they're happening. I hate to say we're out of time, but everybody get Ann Coulter's book, In Trump We Trust. Get her book, Adios America. A new column comes out tomorrow, right?
Yes, or tonight for the eager.
Tonight for the eager. So make sure you're following her on Twitter, Ann Coulter at Twitter, and sign up at anncoulter.com. And Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark Simone. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.